Welcome back to University of Phoenix Stadium. Brian Till, Chuck Howard with you. Kelly Stavis is down on the stadium floor. We've seen some great side-by-side off-road action. That was not surprising, Chuck, but what is the most surprising thing that you've seen tonight?
Well, I have to think through those first two heats, Brian. What surprised me is I'm calling it Calamity Corner. These guys coming off those tabletop jumps at almost 70 miles per hour, they're having trouble making that very sharp turn, and we've seen several rollovers. Justin Matney and P.J. Jones, we might as well call it Jones Corner.
Yeah, P.J. twice in turn one. What was surprising to me was not so much that they went over, but they went over on their own. We really haven't seen a lot of contact.
Well, these guys haven't been on the track very much at all with this number of vehicles during practice sessions, maybe 2, maybe 3 trucks at a time. So now they've been out there with 6 trucks at a time, and these guys, it's much more tighter racing than they've been used to. But I think I got a feeling we're going to see a little more contact before the night's done.
Well, one guy who managed to avoid.
Coming to you from our Nesson South headquarters, right smack dab next to the NASCAR Hall of Fame in Charlotte, North Carolina, the Queen City of the South, but the king when it comes to NASCAR. Hello, folks. Chuck Howard back with you again. So glad you're with us. The chase for the Sprint Cup moved on to the Monster Mile, also known as Dover International Speedway, for the AAA 400. It was race number 3 of the 10-race chase, and Roush Fenway Racing figuring prominently in the highlights and the final results. Let's get right to the highlights. In my opinion, probably the coolest mascot in sports, Miles, the Monster, and the opposite of the Monster, Matt Kenseth and his little angel, Baby Grace, on pit road before the green flag. Matt starting 18th. To the green flag we go, as Martin Truex Jr. would lead the field to the green on Sunday, but it would not take very long before that green turned to yellow. The first caution of the day, lap 5, A.J. Allmendinger, a little contact with Denny Hamlin. Allmendinger got her woed up, kept it off the wall, carried on, and actually had a pretty good finish. Greg Biffle with us a couple weeks ago told us he wants to win, was good early on, passing Denny Hamlin for 4th early on. Speaking of moving up, Carl Edwards, who started the race in 4th position, took over the point on lap 52, moving around Kurt Busch for the lead. Carl would lead 116 laps on the day. Lap 112, and Biffle's day begins to go badly. Had to serve a pass-through penalty for speeding on pit road, put Greg a lap down, back in 22nd, tough blow to his chances. Lap 181, a near disaster for David Reagan. Bobby Labonte came down on the number 6 car. David was unscathed, marched on to a 21st place finish. Labonte, not so lucky. In sports, many folks feel that a rivalry can't be a rivalry if one team wins a preponderance of the meetings. The Charlotte 49ers had won 8 of the last 9 meetings over their Mecklenburg County buddies, Davidson. But to not call this a rivalry would be like saying Chris Justice works hard. Up to Halton Arena we go, and this was a thriller tonight. 49ers early on going inside to Curtis Withers, but the Wildcats kept Curtis in check most of the evening, and Coach Lutz, well, his guys had a game on their hands. Davidson going to their star. Brendan Winters finally got it going from outside the long-range bucket. And then Ian Johnson off the miss by Winters. Good rebound. Kicked it outside to Jason Richards. But check this out. This game just ended, folks. It went to 2 overtimes. And Marcus Bennett's three-pointer with a minute to go, the key bucket, as the 49ers beat Davidson 85-81 in 2 overtimes, so make it 9 of 10 for the 49ers in the Hornets Nest Trophy meeting. It's a typical autumn afternoon. The Butler Bulldogs with a typical practice preparing for an upcoming game. But there's something atypical with one of their assistant coaches.
Down. Good.
Now I say atypical from a stereotypical standpoint, as the Bulldogs offensive line coach Jim DeMaine is not your typical football coach.
I think our kids really, really admire Coach DeMaine and not only the way he coaches, but in that he's different. You know, he's not the prototypical coach that is gung-ho coach all the time, and I think the kids admire that, and I think the kids see that in him, and I think it does kind of open their eyes up to some different things.
And Butler head coach Mike Newsom isn't talking about DeMaine drawing up X's and O's on a chalkboard. You see, this football coach is an artist, and I mean a pretty darn good one.
They're very different in a lot of ways, too. It's you have to be a little more intense physically and vocally doing this, and when you're in there painting, you want to stay semi-relaxed and but you're definitely focused in both areas. It's just a different kind of focus.
And you can no doubt see the focus in this man's heart. But it shouldn't come as a surprise that this football coach paints, well, you guessed it by now, I'm sure, sports icons.
I just decided, well, I like art and I like sports. So, you know, there's not a lot of people that do that as far as painting goes. And so I figured, you know, it'd be a good niche for me, and it was something that I enjoyed doing, and, you know, just brought it together.
And he also brings real life to canvas. There probably aren't two more different worlds than that of football coach and that of artist. DeMaine says he's quite aware that his hobby is different from 99% of other coaches, but he certainly isn't apologizing for not spending his free time on the golf course.
I would like to be recognized as you know, as a good artist and a good football coach, but I'm more concerned with, you know, our team winning games and, you know, people responding to my paintings more so than to me.